We are chapter 8, viscous flow in pipes. Let's finish this chapter today, viscous flow in pipes. Let's start with this problem, inclined pipe problem. Now in this problem, what we have is a steel pipe of diameter 30 centimeters. So we have this steel pipe 30 centimeter diameter and the length is 400 meters. So total length is 400 meters and then it's carrying water. Flow rate is given 50 liters per second. You have to convert that into meter cube per second and then you can calculate velocity. The flow is from point A to point B and point B is inclined. So point B is at height of 30 meters here above A. So A is our base height is 0, point B is at 30 meters and we have to find out pressure at A if the pressure at B is 196.2 kilopascal. So here pressure at point B is given is around 196 200 pascals. So that's around 196,200 pascals. So that's the pressure here. And we want to find out what is pressure at point A. And that's the problem. And the way we want to do it is that first we have to find out with friction loss and then we have to find out without friction loss. It means that let's assume that there is no friction in pipe. What should be pressure here? So that the pressure will be here 196,000. If we have friction which is normal, what should be the pressure? It means that if we get these two values in, then we can figure it out how much pressure we are going to need to overcome all that pipe friction, excess pressure that you are going to need here. So that's what we want to do. So first we calculate it without friction loss and then we can calculate it with friction loss. So for that, without friction loss, we are going to use Bernoulli's equation from point A to point B by considering this friction, by considering this HL. So here we have PA by rho G VA square by rho G plus ZA. That's the equation at this point is equal to Bernoulli's equation at this point with friction loss. And now here, as the area of cross section of this pipe does not change, the velocity is same. So I'm going to cancel this VA and VB. Then this base height is 0. That's my base height. So I'm going to consider that 0. I'm going to cancel that out. Now I have these terms PA, PB, ZB and HL. Now in this problem we have to calculate PA. PB is given. ZB we know the height is 30 meters. We need to know what is head loss. Once we have head loss, we should be able to calculate PA. That's head loss major due to friction. So for this problem, we have to calculate this head loss major. Head loss major, we have an equation FL by D V square by 2G. So for this problem, length and diameter we have already. Length is 400 meter. Diameter is 30 centimeter. That's 0.3 meters. Velocity we don't know. We can calculate velocity based on flow rate and gravity, we know that. So if we calculate HL major, we can put that HL major here and then we can calculate PA, that's with friction loss pressure at point A. So that's pretty much problem is. Now this problem you have to do lots of calculation, but fundamentally it's very easy. It's a concept. Once you understand the concept, you will see it easy. All you have to do is formulas and punch in the numbers. So we start HL major FL by D square V square by 2G. Now if you want, you can pause the video and you can do this calculation and you can match up the answers later, whether you can get right HL major or right PA or not. So for the first part we calculated with HL and then for the second part without friction loss, we don't consider this HL and then we can run the Bernoulli's equation the way we did it in chapter 3. So now first of all we have to calculate HL. For that we need velocity and friction factor, of course. So first velocity, friction factor is Reynolds number epsilon by D, and then for Reynolds number also we need velocity. So to calculate velocity, we have flow rate 50 liters per second. 50 liters is nothing but 0.05 m cube per second. We can convert that into velocity. Velocity is nothing but Q by A. So 0.05 by area. Area is this area pi by 4 d square, pi by 4.3 square. That's 30 centimeter diameter. If you do that, we can get velocity. Velocity in this case, if you calculate, if you pause the video and calculate, you can get velocity around 0.707 meter per second. So that's the velocity from A to B, and that's constant velocity at this point and this point. Once you have this velocity, you can calculate Reynolds number. Once you have Reynolds number, you have to calculate epsilon by d, and then you can use chart, Moody chart, to get your friction factor. You get that friction factor here, you can calculate HL measure, you can get that HL measure here, you can calculate PA. That's the problem. So here, let's calculate quickly Reynolds number. If you do your calculations, rho Vd by mu, density, viscosity is given here, so you have to use that, and then you will get Reynolds number is 141,000. That's your Reynolds number. And then you have to get your epsilon by d to get friction factor. So in this case, epsilon by d, epsilon is 1.2 millimeters. 1.2 millimeter is given in the problem. Epsilon is equal to 1.2 millimeters is given. It's a surface roughness property of material. D is diameter. Remember, epsilon by d must be in millimeter. So epsilon by d is given in millimeter. Your diameter has to be in millimeter to get this calculation. So here 30 centimeter is the diameter. 30 centimeter is 300 millimeters. So 1.2 mm by 300 mm. And then you will get your epsilon by d 0.004. You have to run this 0.004, and then you have to run 141,000 Reynolds number. You get your Moody chart, you draw a vertical, follow a black line, get epsilon by d for 0.004, and then you will get your friction factor. If you know how to use Moody chart, it should be easy. If you don't know, there is a video how to use Moody chart. Watch that video. Anyways, so you get your friction factor is around 0.028. So that's the friction factor you're going to get. Now, if in case you get 0.09 or 0.027, that is still fine. You should not get very high or very low, but this is somewhere around this vicinity you should get friction factor. So 0.028, that's your friction factor. You get it if you know how to read Moody chart. You get your friction factor. You put that friction factor here, and then L by D velocity you have, you can calculate HL measure. You take that HL measure here, and then you can calculate PA, and that's the problem. If you want, you can pause the video, you can solve it for PA, and then you will get friction with friction loss, pressure at point A with friction loss, which is easy. So now you can pause it if you want. I will continue this video, continue this problem. So here I'm going to delete this, and then let's move to the next part. So with friction loss, we have to calculate HL measure 0.028, 400 by 0.3, that's in meters, velocity squared by 2g, and then if you do your calculations, you will get HL measure 0.95 meters. So that much amount of manometric head that we are losing from this point to this point, 0.95 meters. That's the HL. Once you have HL, all you have to do is put the value of HL here and calculate PA. And then if you do that, 0.95 here, ZV 30, calculate PB is 196,200. You should get PA is around 499.8 kilopascal, or 500,000 pascals. So that's the number that you will get if you solve this problem for A. So if you got this number, you're good to go. Now that's the first part. With friction loss, we have to move on. Without friction loss, we want to know how much pressure at point A if we don't consider this friction, if we don't consider this HL measure, any friction loss, in that case what will be the PA. So here what we do, we run our equation, Bernoulli's equation without HL. So this is just basic equation that we learn in chapter 3. You put your equation here, you have to calculate PA 196,000 ZB, and then you just put the numbers in, and then you should get final number is 490,000 kilopascal. So now if we compare these two values with friction loss and without friction loss, here you will get around 500,000 kilopascal. Here you will get around 500 kilopascal, and here you will get around 490 kilopascal. So 10 kilopascals or 10,000 pascals you are going to need almost to overcome this friction here in the pipe. And that's the problem. That's how you can see how much friction makes a difference. That's around, for this 400 pipe, friction does make 10,000. More the length, more will be head loss, the difference will be further more. So now it is 4,000, whatever it is 4,000 meters, it's 400 meters. Instead of 4,000 meters, then the PA with friction will be significantly higher. You need very high pressure to overcome that friction in the pipe. So that's how you can compare these values, 500,000, 490, 10 kilopascal, difference to overcome friction with friction loss and without friction loss. Now, Let's continue with the next problem. This is very interesting problem. This is a problem from the book. In this problem what we have is we have to calculate losses in pipes, or we have to calculate pressure at this point. So what's happening in this problem is we have a pipe. For one end of the pipe, let's say point 1, is in the basement, and another end of the pipe, point 2, is on second floor. You can read that in the problem, it's on second floor. Now our water in this pipe is going through 12 gallon per minute. That's the flow rate in gallon per minute is given here. It means that whatever the flow rate, we have to convert it into meter cube per second to calculate velocity in meter per second. That's need to understand. 12 gallon per minute is given. So water is flowing 12 gallon per minute. Let's say faucet is open and then it's coming out here. Now in this problem what we have to find is pressure at point 1. That's what we want to know. Pressure, determine the pressure at point 1 under 3 different conditions. All losses are neglected. Only losses are major loss, that's a friction loss, and all losses are included. So what's going to happen throughout this flow? Initially, this pipe has some length. So here 5 meters plus 3 plus 2 plus 3, 3, 3. All that length is going to meet some resistance in the form of friction. And if in order to reach water here, the pressure at point should be sufficient to overcome that friction. But not only friction, it's going to have some kinetic energy loss here, 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 wall, faucet. It's going to have some kinetic energy loss. So it has to overcome that loss too to get the water pressure here. So if we assume perfect conditions, no friction loss, no kinetic energy loss, if we assume that, we want to know what is the pressure at point 1 when all losses are neglected. If there are no losses, what should be the pressure? Then only friction loss is included, what should be the pressure? And then all losses, that's friction loss plus kinetic energy loss, major loss plus minor loss. If all that included, what should be the pressure at point 1? We want to know. Some data is given here. Water at 15 degrees Celsius is going, flow rate 12 gallon per minute. Diameter is 2 centimeters. So all the diameter up to this point is 2 centimeters. And then here diameter at point 2 is 1 centimeter. So it's at very end the diameter changes to 1 centimeter. But throughout it's 2. So we are going to follow that too. How we do this, solve this problem? We have this Bernoulli's equation here. Now initially, when all losses are neglected, we don't consider this HL. We cancel this HL out and then we run our equation. We calculate velocities, we calculate P1. And then all losses are neglected, only losses considered major loss, so we calculate that HL major due to friction, and then in the end we add that HL major plus HL minor here. Now some calculations here. For the first part, Z1 height is here starts, so it's 0. That's my base height, I'm going to take it 0. And then this P2, pressure at point 2. Now pressure at point 2 is free jet, so it's 0. Gauge pressure here is 0. Anything which is open to atmosphere, you take always gauge pressure as 0. So here P2 is open to atmosphere, is a free jet, I'm going to take it 0. So I can cancel this out. I'm going to cancel this out, Z1, and now I have to solve for the rest. And then for the first part is easy. I'm going to not consider HL and then I'm going to calculate the rest. So here some calculation, first thing first, gallon per minute conversion into meter cube per second. So this is the conversion, 12 gallon, and then here 1 gallon is 0.038 meter cube is given, so you have to convert that into meter cube per second. This is very important. It has your units, you all with units, you should be on same page. Practice the problem. 0.00076 meter cube per second. That's the flow rate you get, 0.0076 meter cube per second. Then you can calculate, once you have flow rate, you need velocities. You need velocities throughout the pipe, that's your V1. And then in the end, you need velocity V2 to calculate P1. So we need velocities. For that velocities you are going to use this equation. You have diameter means you have area, you can calculate velocities. Q. From Q, you know, you can calculate velocities. Once you have velocities, run this equation without HL, calculate P1. You will get some value. Once you are done on the first part, all losses are neglected. Now you have to consider major loss. Major loss, HL major, is due to friction. Is friction factor you need to know. Length d v square by 2g, that's v1 square. So up to this point, velocity is v1. So that's what we are going to take, velocity v1 here by 2g. Now length here is 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. All that length you are going to add, and that's your length. And diameter is 0.02 meters. So diameter in meter for the pipe is diameter up to this point, that's 2 centimeters, that's 0.02 meters. You are going to put that. You need HL, you need friction factor. You have to use Moody chart again. Friction factor, to get friction factor, you need a rho Reynolds number, you need to know epsilon by d. Reynolds number is rho Vd by mu. You have velocities. Here you calculated this velocity here, diameter, you have density, viscosity, you have, it's given here. You can calculate Reynolds number, and then you need epsilon by d. Remember, epsilon for drawn tubing. Now it says that copper pipe drawn tubing. If you go in your table 8.1, you will get value for epsilon. I think it's 0.000015 or something. You will get that value of epsilon from the table. Get the value of epsilon. Diameter should be in meters. So here 2 centimeters is 20 millimeters. So diameter here in this case should be in millimeters. So epsilon value in millimeter, diameter in millimeter, you will get epsilon by d. You will get epsilon by d, Reynolds number, calculate friction factor, put that friction factor here, get your HL major, put that HL major here, calculate P1. That's the only losses considered are major loss. That's second part of the problem. And then third part of the problem, HL minor. Third part says all losses included. It means that you are going to include your friction loss, and then you are going to include your kinetic energy loss. That's your minor loss here, 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 here. At these joints, you are going to include that. So for the third part, you already have HL major, calculate HL minor, add a KL, here, 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 all that loss coefficient added, sum of that, and we will do that. V1 square by 2g, you will get your HL minor, add this HL major, HL minor here, and calculate P1, and that's the problem. This problem is very easy, but there are so many calculations, and that's why you need lots of practice. If you don't do practice before exam, for this kind of problem, you are not going to get right answers. So you have to practice, you have to see what you are doing, you have to understand everything. So now at this point, I ask you to pause the video and do these calculations. If you get things right, you're good. If not, then we are going to solve this problem here anyway, but you can do that if you want. And I strongly recommend that you pause the video and do these calculations. First, get your all losses neglected, then major loss, and then all losses included, and calculate P1 at three different points. So read the problem properly, understand it, what you are doing. It's there in your Blackboard presentations, and you can do that if you want. Okay, so I assume that you paused the video. Now I'm going to continue with this problem. Let's solve this problem for the first part. All losses are neglected. For the first part, when all losses are neglected, we are not going to consider head loss. So our water is flowing here, 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 directly is coming out. The Z1 is 0, so P2 is 0. V1, V2, I assume that you have calculated. Z2 is 6 meters. So here 3 plus 3 is height in Y direction is 6 meters. You put that and you can get value of P1. So here I'm going to put some values. I need to know P1. My velocity 1 will get it 2.42. So here throughout the velocity is 2.42. Velocity in the end is 9.67. We do your calculations and then you will get final value for P1 is 102,000 kilopascal or 102,000 pascal or 102 kilopascal. That's the pressure you are going to need at this point to get water here without any loss. But life is not so perfect. You are going to have some losses there. So that's the first part. You will get, first is very easy, run the equation, calculate the P1 value, is very easy, first one. Now, I'll move to the next part. What if there is only major loss? To know major loss, to calculate that HL major, we need to know Reynolds number. So here we calculate Reynolds number. It will get around 44,000 or 43,900. That's the Reynolds number you get. And then you need epsilon by D. So epsilon by D, friction factor, you need Reynolds number epsilon by D. Epsilon from table 8.1, you will get the value 0.0015 millimeters. Diameter is in millimeters, 2 centimeters, that's 20 millimeters. You will get 0.000075, 4 zeros and 75. And then if you run these two numbers, this number and this number, in your Moody chart, you will get friction factor as 0.022. Now this is very important. You need to learn how to use Moody chart. Get your Reynolds number, get your epsilon by D, and get your value 0.022. Let's do that. Let's see if we get this value 0.022. So first 44,000 and 0.00075. So what we do is we locate 44,000. This is our Moody chart. We locate our 44,000. So 10,000 here, 20,000, 40,000. So 44,000 will be just somewhere here. That's my 44,000. From 44,000, I'm going to draw a line. So this is my red line here. And then I'm going to follow a line which is closer to 0.000075. So here, I have 0.4005 here, and then I have here. So my 0.0000075 should be somewhere here between these two lines. So what I'm going to do is that for now, I'm going to follow this line 0.001 because this is closer to that. I'm going to follow that black line. And I'm going to keep following that. And then it meets somewhere here. I'm going to take my best case. I'm going to mark a point. So that's my point here. That's a red dot is my point here. So once I mark the point, from that point, I'm going to draw a horizontal. So that's how we need this chart. From that point, I draw a horizontal, and wherever I will meet that horizontal, that will be my friction factor. So here again, I'm mark the point, and then I'm going to get like this 0.022, and that's the friction factor I'm going to use. Get your Reynolds number, follow the black line, mark a point, 0.022. That's it. So for the next part, the only losses included in major loss. Major loss is given by F, L by D, V square by 2G. Friction factor, we got it 0.022. I'm going to use that 0.022. Total length 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 19 meters. And then rest of the part, I know diameter 0.02 is meters, velocity is 2 by 9. I can calculate HL major, which comes around 6.2 meters. Now all I have to do is put that 6.2 meters here and calculate P1. Once you have P1, you can write it down. P1 you will get around 163.55 kilopascal or 163,000 Pascal. So initially you got 102,000, now it's 163,000 with friction loss. Now the next part, all losses are included. I'm going to add up all the losses. Now here, HL major plus HL minor, equation stays same. I have HL major 6.2, I have to calculate HL minor. Minor loss is kinetic energy loss. So I'm going to lose my kinetic energy here, 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 here. And that's the loss I have to calculate. That's your minor loss. So minor loss, we have a formula KL V1 square by 2G. So KL is your loss coefficient, and throughout the velocity is V1, so I'm going to use that velocity V1 throughout till end. What is KL? KL is loss coefficient. So all that losses I'm going to add loss coefficient here, 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 here. I'm going to add that. Now you have to go through your table. I think it's 8.2, or you go in your book and find the value for KL for threaded 90-degree elbow. I think it's 1.5. So from the table you can find the value, and then you have to multiply that value by 4 because you have 4 elbows here, 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 here. 4 elbows. So multiply that value with 4. Then find the value for wall wide open globe wall. Find that value, add that into these 4 elbows, and then here KL is equal to 2, also add that. So this KL will be sum of all loss coefficient, all that energy, kinetic energy losses, 4 elbows, 10. The value for wide open globe wall is 10, KL is equal to 10. If you go through the table, you have to know that, find out the table. 2 is given here. So altogether KL is 18. So I'm going to use that KL 18 here, and then I'm going to calculate HL minor, and then whatever HL minor I'm going to plug that here, and then I'm going to run my equation again and then calculate P1, and that's the objective. So let's do that. HL minor 18, 2.42 to 9.81, and if you do this calculation, HL minor is quite high, 5.2 meters. The reason is that we have so many kinetic energy losses here. So here HL minor is quite high here, 5.3 meters. Once you have 5.3 meters, you take that value 5.3 meters, you put it in here. You have HL measure already 6.2 meters. You calculate it, and then you calculate P1. So here, if you do that, your value around should come 216 kilopascals. That's the pressure you will get at this point. Now let's compare all these pressures that we calculated without any loss, with friction loss, and all losses included. So here I'm going to go with the next part, and then I can see the difference between pressure. So all losses are neglected. Let's say everything is perfect, there are no losses. You'll get pressure around 102,000. That's good. Then only losses to include major loss. Let's say we assume only friction here, then you need 60,000 Pascal extra pressure to overcome that friction and to send water here. Without that, you won't be able to send the water. So that's extra 60,000, total 163,000. Jump from 102 there. And then you continue another 60,000 if you consider minor loss. So altogether 216 kilopascal. So with a loss 102, more than double when all losses are included. That's how you can compare these values. So here I have 102,000 first answer, then I have with friction, and then I have 216,000 pascals, all losses are included. And that's how that's why it is very important to calculate these losses. Without these losses, you won't be able to design an efficient system. That's why we need to understand these losses, friction and kinetic energy and everything that's happened, and that's how you can calculate. You want to design an efficient system, you want to know how all these losses we need to calculate. So that's the important problem. That one is from the book. Now let's move to the next problem. This problem is for sudden contraction. So what's happening is if we have one pipe here, one large pipe, and then diameter of this pipe is 0.12, that's 12 centimeters. So that's 12 centimeter pipe is here, and then it is sudden contracting to the small pipe, which is 6 centimeters, 0.06 meter, and this is continuous. So this is not open to atmosphere or anything. These things continue. So water comes from here and then continue to go to here. But our point 1 is here just before the contraction, and our point 2 is here just after the contraction. So what does it say? Is that water is flowing with this flow rate 0.04 meter cube per second. So flow rate is given. Determine the pressure drop. So what's going to happen is that throughout this process, you're going to have relatively high pressure here, and then once it meets a contraction, you're going to have lower pressure here. What's going to happen is that velocity will increase. As velocity goes up, pressure goes down. So velocity is going to increase, but not only because of pressure is going to go down, not only because of velocity, but because of this energy loss. Because of you made sudden contraction, you are going to always have some kind of energy loss. And we want to know what is the pressure drop, what is P1 minus P2 is. We don't need to know exact value, we need to know pressure drop delta P. That's the problem. Now for this kind of problem, what we do is we run our Bernoulli's equation from point 1 to point 2. Our objective is to calculate P1 minus P2. For that, we need to know HL minor. We also need to know V1 and V2. Now in this problem, as this thing is horizontal, height is same. So Z1 is equal to Z2. So here I am going to cancel that Z1, Z2. Done. Once I cancel this Z1, Z2, I need to calculate V1 and V2. Once I have V1, V2, I need to calculate HL minor. HL minor, for that we have formula for HL minor, KL V2 square by 2G. Now this KL works, the way it works is that you need to get your velocity at this point. So here you need to get value of KL, you need to go for V2. To get V1, V2, you are going to use this formula A1 V1 by A2 V2. So Q is given 0.04 m³ per second. Now all you have to do is to calculate V1, V2, put that here, calculate HL minor, and then calculate P1 minus P2. For that you need to know KL, and that KL can be given by this figure. So in your book you have figure 8.26, and then to get that you need to know A2 by A1. So there somewhere you have A2, this one is A2 by A1, area 2 by area 1, and then if you calculate that area 2 by area 1, you will get that area 2 by area 1, which is around 0.25. So area 2 by area 1 is 0.25. From that 0.25, wherever it will meet that black line, you draw a horizontal. Whatever that horizontal will meet, and that will be your KL, value of KL. KL is equal to 0.4. So that's how you use this figure. Find out A2 by A1, draw vertical, draw horizontal wherever it will meet back line, get that KL 0.4, put that KL here, calculate your HL minor, you will get HL minor here, and then calculate the rest. So here velocities from this one is you get 3.54, 14.1. Now all you have to do is put these velocities back in here, and then you will get your HL minor. You can calculate HL minor, put that in here, and then you will get P1 minus P2, which is around 133,000 pascals. So that's the answer that I am looking for. So here all you have to do is do this calculation. I am assuming that you are doing this calculation. Don't read the problem, practice the problem, it's very important. But now you know how to solve this problem. You have to run this Bernoulli's equation. For that you need to get velocities, get your HL minor. For HL minor you need KL. To get KL, use this figure. From the figure calculate KL or get your KL, locate that KL and use that here to get the rest. Get your HL minor, calculate P1 minus P2. And that's the problem for sudden contraction. Now if there is sudden expansion, there is another figure similarly like this, you have to use that. But that's how the process is, that you need to know how to use tables, charts and figures. Without that you won't be able to do these problems. Now let's continue for the next part, multiple pipe systems. So here so far we are dealing with only single pipe. What if there are more than one pipe? How to solve the problems? So if there are more than one pipe, most likely the arrangement will be either in parallel or in series. So if it is in series, you will have this kind of arrangement. So here we have pipe 1, pipe 2, pipe 3, they are in series. And then if you want to consider the head loss and flow rate from point A to point B, what we are going to do is that we are going to add that flow rate. Q1 is equal to Q2 is equal to Q3. It means flow rate in pipe 1, flow rate in pipe 2, flow rate in pipe 3 is exactly same, Q1, Q2, Q3. When it comes to head loss, HLAB, we add the head loss here, that's friction loss, let's say, head loss here, head loss here, head loss here. We are going to add these losses all together. And then I'll get HLA to B from point A to point B as HL1 plus HL2 plus HL3. That's for series arrangement. But when it comes to parallel arrangement, it's exactly opposite. What happens in parallel? Let's say you have two large tank A and tank B. And then we have three different pipes, same material, same length, but different diameter. Pipe 1, pipe 2, pipe 3. Our fluid is going from pipe A to tank A to tank B. And now it's flowing. And then 1, 2, 3. Here, the total flow rate from A to B, we are going to add it. Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. So Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3, all that flow rate is added, you'll get Q. And then, when it comes to head loss, the rule says that head loss